Hi and welcome to Orbit. I just went hands-on with the Apple Vision Pro and it was amazing. There were some great things about it and some not so great things about it. Here's everything you need to know and everything I felt and saw. If you are interested, I will do another video about the Vision Pro experience, so please consider subscribing and write down your comments and questions under the like button. When you first lay your hands on the Apple Vision Pro, you feel that it is quite premium. It is quite heavy and it is built really well. The front is made out of aluminium and glass and it's quite heavy actually, above a pound, so about 500 grams. The strap is made out of super soft and comfy fabric and it is really nice on your head. Apple only showed the back strap in their marketing material. There's only one picture where you can see a head strap that goes on top of your head, and that's the one I was wearing. And I did prefer that option because of the weight of the glasses. It was really nice to have that extra support. And when I put it on for the first time, I could tighten it up a little bit and it felt super comfy. Like the front was made out of fabric as well and really soft. First thing that happens is that the lenses will calibrate to your eyes, and they do this with motors. So it's a motorized system. Other glasses like the Meta Quest Pro, which I used quite a lot, they do that with a manual dial. Then I had to look at some points and they were there for the eye tracking. And once that was calibrated, I could see the screen, and that screen is impressive. It is extremely sharp. 23 million pixels, that is about 3,400 to 3,400 for each eye, so more than a 4K resolution per eye. That's a higher PPE than the iPhone by a factor of 64. And the thing is, a lot of people said that you can't see any pixels at all. I don't think that is true. I think you can compare the Meta Quest Pro to Full HD and the regular Meta Quest to HD, and the Apple Vision headset, that's more like 4K. So it's still not 6K or 8K. If you have an eye for it, and I do have good eyesight, you can spot a tiny bit of pixel structure, but it's nothing spectacular, and it is way better than everything I ever saw. The angle of view, which you can see, is not that wide. I don't know why some people say that it is, because I really don't think that it is. The lenses are quite far from your eyes, so it's like a small tunnel vision, and I've seen way wider field of view, but the thing is, it didn't really matter because the tracking worked so well and everything was so fluid that I totally forgot about the field of view. The pancake lenses were super sharp but not perfect. On the edges I could tell a tiny bit of green color and a little bit of darkening, but again, when you use the headset, you forget about it immediately. Some people asked me if I could feel that the headset was getting warm on my face. I had a 30-minute session and in that time period it did not get warm on my face, but I could feel that it heated up a little bit, and then the fans kicked in and they blew some fresh cold air in my face. Not a huge amount, but a really nice breeze, and I like that. You control the operating system with looking at things and then pinching your fingers together, and that worked flawlessly. It was super incredible to see how well this whole system works. I could be there like with my hands just on my lap doing this tiny motion and it recognized everything. I even tried to hide it a little bit. It just works. It's crazy. And it's super fluid and fast to navigate like this. It's like mind control, and I was used to it in just under a minute. And even the scrolling was like on a touchscreen. It was super responsive. I would guess that it's a 120 Hz screen. I don't get how Meta has eye tracking and has a way worse and way slower use of the hand tracking. Apple is way ahead of them now. The whole software reminded me a little bit of iPadOS, and it was super easy to use. You can drag windows around and they stay in that position. The tracking was really well. It is about 95% perfect. There are some slight shifts, especially when there was a butterfly flying on my fingertip. It was tracked on that finger, but you can tell that it's a tiny bit off. Not by a huge amount, but just a tiny bit. And my hands were cut out of any content, and it was super impressive to still have your real hands, because with the Meta headsets you have fake hands and they are not your hands, and that were my hands. The whole transparency mode, the pass-through mode, a lot of people say it's perfect, it's like not wearing the headset at all. I don't agree to that, because you can still see that it's through cameras. Of course, Apple is only cooking with water, and it's really nice and really hot water, but it's still water after all. It is like the iPhone camera, and the iPhone camera is good, but there's some slight over sharpening going on, some noise and noise reduction. You could tell there's a slight motion blur. It is the best pass-through mode I've ever seen by far, and it's super three-dimensional, and I could tell everything where it is, and it was really nice, but it was not like you're not wearing a headset at all. There is always a battery connected, and if you disconnect it, it will turn off immediately, and the battery life is about 2 hours, and to charge the headset you have to plug in the battery, and then you can use it while it is charging, and that's the only way you can plug it in. So you can't connect it directly to a wall plug, you always connect to the battery, and that powers the whole system. And if you unplug the battery, you have still 2 hours of battery left. I think that makes kind of sense. And the battery is super large compared to the weight, because it was larger than a smartphone but way lighter than a smartphone. I would guess 170 grams in total. I was in a medium bright room, so there was some noise. I can imagine that if it gets darker, the cameras will have way more noise, but there is a mode when you are in pitch black that it still does track your hands and everything. So with the Meta headset you have to be in a lit room, and with the Apple headset you don't. I had the chance to look at 3D pictures taken with Vision Pro, and they look really impressive. Even portrait pictures from the iPhone have a slight 3D effect to them, and you can take pictures with the headset while not wearing it. So you can just hold it at something and take pictures or videos of it. The sound was really good. I was surprised by that. It was really full and quite spatial. It felt like there are speakers in the room and not on the headset. And I had that FaceTime call with a 3D avatar of someone else wearing Vision Pro as well, and I could move the voice around, and it felt like the person was standing in the corner of the room or quite close. That was super impressive. You can game on the Vision Pro, but only iPad apps and only in 2D. There's a window floating in front of you, and you can game with the gamepad. If you want to type something, you look at a search bar and you just speak, or a keyboard pops up in front of you and you can type like this, or you can look at the keys and you can select them while doing this pinching motion. I really liked the presentation of the meditation app, because there were leaves flying all around me, and that was super impressive. Especially every mode that was not using the transparency mode was super impressive. When you were fully immersed in the world, that looked, to my eye, the best. If someone comes in, the person shows up and you can look at them and they slowly fade into your field of view. So that was also really nice how flawless that worked. The release of the headset is still far off, at least 10 months, and I don't think that that's a bad thing. If they would release it next week, I would be worried, because there were still some tiny flaws, but I think at the end that this is like the first iPad. The first iPad is totally different of what an iPad can do today, and I do think that with Vision Pro that will be an even greater example of how far a product can come in just 5 to 10 years. It was really impressive, especially the hard stuff. Apple just nailed it. Tracking, the pass-through, the resolution, how everything worked, how you control it, that was all flawless and really nice to look at. But I still think that the content is a little bit lacking. I think that the vision could be a little bit further, that you're not only looking at a 16:9 window, but actually are inside of the content. But I think with time and more developers hopping on board, we will get there. I still have plenty of answers to your questions, so ask them down in the comments, and I see you in the next one. Bye.